And we are live with Coriyon Arrington. And Coriyon, how was your afternoon?
It's going excellent so far. How about yourself?
It's good. It's rainy. I was over. You're on the west side of Minneapolis, St. Paul, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm out. No, I'm out over here in Robbinsdale, and like you said, it's raining a little bit over here too. So
Yeah, I went by
yeah.
your neck of the woods. I had to drive up to Rogers and visit with one of our good partners, Abe Tech, and
Okay. Yeah.
had lunch with those guys, and it was raining hard on the far west side of the
hmm
cities. So
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah. No,
and
we're getting it over here.
Robbinsdale is like is that kind of north edge of the city of Minneapolis, or where is Robbinsdale?
That's a great question, and I'm not a Minneapolis native, but it's like central slash west, I want to say.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Yeah,
You are
northwest.
originally from. Are you from North Carolina?
Yeah, I'm from North Carolina. I was born and raised in Atlanta. Spent a few years in Florida, but I went to college in North Carolina, and so I grew up there mostly for the
E-
last 10 years or so.
East Carolina University, is that right?
That's right. Go
And
Pirates.
where is East Carolina University?
It's all the way on the eastern side of North Carolina, so very, very, very to the right. And I mean, it's a great place. I mean, it's beautiful in North Carolina, and I had a great experience at ECU.
Is it Asheville or where is it?
Oh
What
no, so
town?
Asheville is actually West Carolina. So east,
Oh
it's
yeah, yeah, that's right. Yes,
yeah,
east, yeah, east
East
west.
Carolina is eastern, and it's located in Greenville. So a
Ah,
really small college town, but yeah, it's a great little spot.
right on the ocean or not?
No, so it's not on the ocean, but it's not too far. It's not too far from
Okay,
like the Outer Banks. It's like maybe 40 minutes away from there.
very cool. And you were
Yeah,
a biomedical engineer in college,
that's great.
and so how does one get to be? I always feel intimidated when I'm talking to big brain people. So when I saw you were a biomedical engineer, I got nervous for a second. It's carrying on here. And How does someone go from biomedical engineering? You're now doing product engineering, which kind of makes sense because you're at Care Hive. You also do UI UX design. Is there a Does your background in biomedical engineering has it transferred to product design and the UI design work that you do?
Yeah, absolutely. And so I started off as a biomedical engineer. I wanted to originally do prosthetics, and I was like really interested in making it easier for people to, walk. And at the time I had torn my ACL for the first time. And so I was just really interested in making it mobility easy for people. And I was doing some other things like research for cancer and stuff like that. But once I finished with my engineering program, I was honestly a little burnt out when I got done. And so I took a little break. And during that break, I ended up getting into some account management work. And so I ended up working as an account manager for a couple of years. I was focused on helping local businesses get started with digital marketing. And that's kind of how I started to get into the UX space. Because during that time, I was primarily helping business owners who were trying to get their customers. They're trying to find customers and keep them coming back, but they're like struggling to do so. And I was just curious, like how can I help them actually create a product that people enjoy using? And during that experience was when I found out about user experience. And so I was like, well, I don't really want to go too far away from engineering. I want to see if I can find a way to bring all these things together. And it ended up working out really well because I went to a like workshop one night after work, and this was hosted by General Assembly. It's like a one of the major online boot camp programs at the time. And so, anyways, I get to this workshop, and they're teaching us about Costco, the way that Costco is designed. Why do they put the TVs up at the front when you first walk in? What's the reason for that? And so, they're teaching us about how companies build these experiences around the users and customers. And I just thought it was fascinating. And so for me, I thought it was a great field for me to bring the problem solving skills that I have from my engineering and combine it with some of my creative skills and, and be able to create products that people actually enjoy using that also solve their problems. Like that was for me, the main motivator was how can I actually help them solve those problems? And so I kind of went through a bit of a journey to get from engineering to user experience, but I definitely use my background every day.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you at CareHive, you're listed as a product designer. Is that very different than a UI designer? You were with Logitech for a year. I don't think if we met, we just met briefly. We maybe didn't meet when you were with Logitech, which I'm sorry for. But so you've done UI design work. You're doing product design work. Is there a difference?
That is a great question. And yes, there is a difference. So typically, when folks think about user experience and user interface design, they kind of just clump it all together. But really, in reality, these are separate things. And so, as a product designer, I'm focused on the end-to-end solution, on helping us to accomplish, our business goals. There are business goals that we're usually striving for, but then there's also what our users actually need. But a lot of times those things are in conflict. And so my job as a product designer is to figure out how to combine those two and make sure that we're helping the user to solve their need and the problems that they're experiencing while also helping the business to accomplish its goals. And so as a product designer, I focus on the entire process, everything from research to the, designing and prototyping and testing. Whereas as a UX designer, you're mainly just focused on a smaller portion of that. I might just be, as a UX designer, focused on the certain flows. How can I make this flow easier for folks? How can I improve the usability? What about accessibility? What changes and improvements can I make there? And a UI designer, they're focused more on the actual look and feel of it. What components do we use and what buttons do we show and those kind of things. And so those are some of the difference, and I mainly focus on the entire thing.
Yeah. It kind of occurs to me that the great product designers tend to be very focused on the user experience or the user design. If you think back to the Steve Jobses of the world, for example, he obviously owned the entire product design, but the user interface, the user experience was always paramount in how he was viewing the product and the world. And I wonder sometimes in my world, do people appreciate UI design enough? So do you think as a UI designer, when you're doing just UI design, do people it seems like it can be an afterthought, kind of like there's the hard build and then there's people kind of throw in testing and they're like, oh yeah, we should have some UI, somebody look at the UI to make sure that there's some semblance of that. Do people pay enough attention in your opinion?
In my professional opinion, no. I mean, a lot of times majority of the time, folks kind of get bottleneck or stuck on what it actually looks like. And, sometimes solving the problems that it's solving ends up going out the window. And to me, that's like a huge mistake. So when I think about user experience, I think about it in this like sort of stack where on one side you have the users, you have the needs and the problems that they're experiencing. Right. And then on the other end, you have the business and you have what they're trying to accomplish. And a lot of times the UI stuff is somewhere way down at the bottom. It's like you have to really understand the problems that people are experiencing and how they're experiencing in order to design an interface that will help them to solve that problem. And if you just focus on the UI, you're going to potentially miss actually helping them solve that problem.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to try to remind myself at some point I should introduce you to Dr. Daniel Sig, who's also a product designer, and he was with the Dirty Birds the night we met.
Okay,
so he's also a product designer, and he's medical. He's a biomedical engineer type. He's a doctor, but
that's amazing.
I think you guys would get along great, and so sometime I'll try to set coffee between us. So I'm going to switch gears on you a little bit because I noticed you also do mentoring, and I was curious. I saw on LinkedIn that you can sign up and be mentored by you. So tell me about that side of your world. Tell me about who you mentor and what you mentor them on.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mainly mentor folks who are recent graduates or career switchers. And I tend to lean most heavily towards the career switchers, although I do support a lot of recent graduates as well. And the reason for that is because, as I was just kind of alluding to, my journey to design was a really tumultuous one. I mean, I could have gotten there a lot sooner and faster than I did, but I just had so many obstacles to overcome, and I didn't see what those barriers were that were in front of me. And so as a mentor, I love doing it because I get to, one, help someone by clearing out their path a little bit, making that process a little bit easier for them. And so I'm mentoring them on how to, transition careers and how to actually make it into product design, how to get your first role, how to grow your skills, how to tell your story of why you're transitioning. All of those things are really nuanced. And if you don't have someone kind of guiding you along, it can be really, really confusing. You can get yourself stuck pretty easily.
And how does it work? Do you charge for that service?
Great question. And so when I initially started mentoring, I started out on this platform called ADP List. And ADP List is a global platform of for folks who mentor. You can go there and sign up for, if you're interested in learning more about design, you can do that. They have folks up there who are in product, marketing, etc., different functions. And so that's a completely free platform. I started off there because I understand usually if you're transitioning careers, you're usually dealing with some sort of financial challenges. And so charging folks who are transitioning can be really challenging because, they just don't have the funds to, to do that stuff. And so I do a lot of that for free. And I support our University of Minnesota bootcamp graduates. There's a UX program at the U that I support a lot of those students. And so I do all of that stuff for free just because it's meaningful for me and I know that it's helpful for them and I can fast track them a lot, and so that's free. I have other things that I used to charge for. Right now, I'm not currently doing any of that. I'm mainly focused on freelancing, like my own product design services or facilitating workshops, for small businesses, that kind of thing. But I do that for free because it's easy.
And if people want to use any of the services, whether that be a business that wants to bring you in and maybe pay you to work with their UI group or to talk to their people, or someone who's looking for career advice, can they come to LinkedIn and introduce themselves to you, or how does that process work? I saw there's a link. You have a hot link on your LinkedIn profile.
Yes, absolutely.
So is that the thing? Yeah.
Yeah, and so like you said, if you're interested in, if for anyone who's listening, if you're interested in facilitating a workshop, you're trying to solve a problem, I can definitely help you do that. You can find me on LinkedIn. Just search my name, Coriyon, Coriyon, and send me a DM. Or you can check out my website, which is just coriyon.com, Coriyon.com, and I'd be happy to connect with you.
Yeah, and I know we have corporate people who watch this as well, and so it would be great for those folks to reach out and bring you in and have you work with their UI group or give some kind of mentoring if they're having to transition people. And I think you'd be great for that. And the corporate people can pay; they got money.
Oh yeah, exactly. And that's why I put the focus there, right? It's like, and I do that intentionally. It's all strategy. I'm like, if I put the focus there and I can facilitate a workshop that it might be a couple hours of my time, that frees me up to do more of the mentoring stuff because now I can offer this stuff for free and not, feel like I'm burning my own resources to do it. So yeah. It's meaningful.
Well, that is awesome. Coriyon Arrington, thank you so much for your time. It's been wonderful having you on the vodcast. For everyone else out there, happy Friday.
Thanks for having me. Have a great day.